Okay, so in today's lesson we're going to learn about the control flow statements. So I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to give you a small idea about control flow statements and types of control flow statements that we're going to learn, right? So let me share my screen to you very quickly. Control flow statements, we will be learning two types of them. We're going to learn two types of them. Mainly one is going to be selection statements, the other one is going to be repetition statements. Under selection statements we're going to learn about if statements. If statements have three types, which means three styles we can write: simple if else, and finally we'll be learning if else if. And we have one more, which is switch statements. This is going to be the lesson today we're going to learn, right? Then when it comes to repetition structures, we're going to learn about while statement, do while statement, and for statements. There is another one called for each also. For each loop we can make use of this one. By the time we are learning arrays, not here, it is not useful. We are learning arrays in chapter 5. We're going to learn arrays. So in chapter 5 we can learn about for each as well. So I can write it here, but we will be covering this one today. Okay, so we'll take a look at the lesson today, right? So when we write programs, up to last week we learnt about things called operators, because we are learning new features in the programming language, even in the PHP, so that the more features that you learn in the PHP programming language, the more that you can do. That's the idea. So up to operators we have learned. So what will happen is once you learn control flow statements and other things, you will be able to write more feature rich programs and more programs with more features. That's the idea. So you can write a little bit powerful programs than the previous ones that you have already doing. So that's the whole idea. And upcoming lessons you will be making use these things. You'll be making use of these things in upcoming lessons also. So it's not going to be just learn today and leave it. So we're going to continuously going to do this one. So make sure that you properly understand them. So right, so this is going to be our lesson structure for today. So I'll try to cover the whole thing as much as possible, right? Okay, right, now if you take a look at your notes again, PHP notes, control flow statements, right? So at first point it says this allows us to build dynamic content. You will understand that in a while, because we can make decisions using control flow statements. So we'll be making our dynamic contents as well. First of all, we're going to take a look at the if statements. It's much easier for me to explain using programs rather than just simply explaining you with the code. Why I'm showing you this note is this is the note part, has the syntax and the example, so you can follow through. I'm going to explain you first if conditions, then if with else, then if with else if part. So this is the first part I'm going to show you. So I'm going to share the screen. I'm going to do it using the Atom software. Okay, so we're going to do it in chapter 3. Right, so I'm going to first of all share the screen. Right, so first of all I'm going to have a folder, because I'm going to have it chapter 3. So I'm going to have it a new chapter, ch3. Before starting today's lesson, I'm going to have a small extra lesson. I'm going to teach you about quotes. Okay, so let's what happens with this double quotes and single quotes in PHP. There is a small thing that we need to understand properly. Just hold on a second. Okay, we'll continue. Now I will create a small script for you in this program. Now when we create a PHP, we can create a variable, right? Let's say name is John Doe. Right, now we're going to do something like this. I'm going to write an echo command, and I'm going to write echo. First we will write, let's say name is, then normally you use the concatenation operator and use the variable like this, and we will see what is going to happen now. So you can see name is, it says John Doe, right? The other way we're going to do this is we're going to say echo. Carefully see that I have double quotations. Inside the double quotation I'm going to say name is and the dollar sign name itself, and you can see even though that the name variable is written inside the double quotations, it is turning into red color. It's turning to red color so that it will work. So that means it will process the value of variable and it will display. That means my name is John Doe will again it will pop up on the screen. You can see it's not different. So double quotations when you use please keep your microphones turned off, right? So what I was going to tell you is within double quotations, if you have a variable, that variable will be processed, the output will be coming. So that is very important. Within double quotations, if you write a variable, instead of displaying the name of the variable, it will display the whole thing, right? The variable's value, right? Okay. I have given permission for your microphones. Don't step away from the microphones. Just keep it muted. That's enough. All right. Okay. Now see the difference. Now I'm going to say we're going to say echo, and we're going to use single quotations this time. Inside single quotations, I'm going to use a variable name, and you can see the color is also not changing, and it will not process the variable. It will just display my name is, or name is $sign name. It won't display the output. See, that is the different, right? So that's the difference between those two types, right? So if you use double quotations, line number 14 I'm referring to, if you use double quotations, what's happening is it will process the variable inside the double quotations, if we use single quotations, it's not going to do this. Both of these two methods are very useful when we are writing large programs. In upcoming programs you will see this one. By the time we are writing especially SQL commands and all, it's pretty easy and pretty simple to do these kind of things, right? Okay, so this, keep it as an idea, and this is a small lesson I wanted to show you before we start the lesson today. So you should have a proper understanding of what double quotes does and what single quotes does. Both are considered as strings, but if you use double quotations, values, especially the variables that you use inside the double quotations, can be processed with single quotes. It's not. Okay, now let's move on to the first lesson, which is going to be the if part, right? So I will create an example for that. So we'll say if demo1 dot php. After the class, I will upload the thing to the you can download that, and the link will be posted in the description of the video as well, in the YouTube later as well. All right. Right. The first thing we will learn, screen sharing and screen capturing both happening, so not properly coming. Selection statements. Okay. Right, now I'm going to write first of all a very simple condition. We already know this one, so we'll take an example we'll say ticket is equals to 0 rupees, right? And we need to know the age, right? Let's once you go to chapter 6, you can get the age from the user. For the time being, we will directly put the age, and we will do age is 21. Let's use this simple if condition. So I'm going to write like this, right? Then here within the parentheses we have to give the conditions. I'm going to say if age is more than or equals to 18, in that case we're going to do the ticket. I'm going to say ticket is going to be 250, right? So say echo so I can do the program like this. So for the discussion we need line number 15 and 16 only. We will do some modifications to this and see what is going to happen, right? So first of all what I'm going to do is we will see the output of this program first of all. So we'll get the program if demo. You can see it says ticket is 250, and we will see why. And if you take a look at it, we have a condition here, if condition line number 15. We are evaluating the age. So when you want to check for something, we have to write an evaluation like this. So we are comparing the variable age with the value 18. At the time being, age is having the value 21, so 21 is greater than or equal to 18 is true. So this line number 16, the conditions statement, this condition, if conditions statement is this one. So that can be executed without a problem. That will be executed. So that is why the value of ticket, it is displaying ticket is 250. So if we change this age value to something different, let's change to a small value like 15, saved it, and let's what do you call let's run that one here. So we'll refresh the code. Now you can see ticket is 0. The reason for that is line number 16 is not getting executed because the line 15, the condition is not true, right? Okay, so what we shall do is, if you want to write more than one instruction under the if conditions, this is similar in Java also, right? If you want to say let's say echo, you want to say like you are not a child, will write like you are not a child. This message you want to display. Now when you run this one, if you run, the age is 25, so that's going to be true now. Right. So it says you are not a child and ticket is 250. Both are getting displayed. That is, for this occasion it is okay, right? Let's say that's fine. This should come in the next line. Displaying the ticket done down here anyhow. This line number 16, line number 17, both are happening. That is why the value of ticket is coming like that. Okay. Now what we will do next is, we will put a opening closing curly braces here. This again we make a block of it. So when we block, this particular block here what I have highlighted belongs to the if condition. If the condition is true, this entire block will be executed, otherwise entire thing will be skipped. Okay, so now it is true. If you run for this occasion, it is correct. But what will happen is, if this is not true, like if you reduce the age, now this if condition will not function. This part will not function because it's not true. So the entire thing will be skipped. It will not display you are not a child now. Right, ticket is 0, correctly coming. So if you don't have the curly braces, then the problem is like this: you are not a child message is coming, ticket is 0 is also coming. So that is wrong because age is 15. So hope you understand that one. So it's a good practice for you to write the opening closing curly braces for if conditions, right? Okay, so this is the simple if condition. I took a little bit what do you call a relevant example, right? So if free ticket and ticket calculation based on the age means, we can make use of this one. In the quiz section today, I will be uploading questions to the Google Drive, so download them and please do the questions. I'm not going to put any MCQ questions today, but I'm going to give you some class task type of questions. You should do it and show it to me. I will check the answers, right? Okay. Let's do like this. Now we will do the next part. For that I will take another program again. It's easy. So I'm going to say if demo2, this time we will take a male female example, and based on that we will again go for the ticket calculations, right? Okay. So I'm going to a variable called gender, and we will store the value male there first. Then we're going to do the ticket also. Ticket initially we will put 0. Then I'm going to have if condition. So I'm going to check the gender whether it's equals to male. So you can see I'm using the equivalence operator there. In that case, I'm going to write echo male, and I'm going to say ticket is 250. Okay, 250. Right, now you know for gents one rate, and for females if it is another rate, the tickets, then we definitely want an else part. So how we make sure that an else part comes is, for your evaluation for the condition that you are going to write, you make sure or you check whether you have one option or more than one option. Usually if we have two options, then we can simply solve it with a if and an else part. So here at this occasion, for males one rate and for females another rate, only two options, male or females. That is why we are using this kind of a structure here. So let's type, save some time there. So and we will put the rate as 200. Okay, for male it's 250 and for females it is 250. So here right the ticket rate then I can put the ticket right. Let's check the program. As you can see, gender is male and the ticket rate is 250, and we will make sure this one is properly working again. The gender we will change to female now. Then rate is 200. Okay, so if you make a spelling mistake here also, like let's say if you have something like if you type like this for gender, what will happen is, now it is definitely not male, so it's going to consider this one according to this if condition as female. So if you, in this kind of a situation, if you want to result in it's a erroneous input, then we will have to use if else if part. So we will do that one in another example. So if I run this one, it will calculate the rate for females like that. Okay, right, so that is how it's going to happen. Right, so we need to change the code again properly, so we'll make the program correct again as male like this, right? Upload these codes after the lessons so you can download them. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do the if else if part. So for that part we will take another example and try to understand them very correctly, and if you have doubts, please you can switch on your mic and speak, you can ask questions, right? Let's take a look at the third example. So it's going to be if demo 3. Most of the part we have to share screen and do, because things are going practically, so we need to do like that. Don't worry about bandwidth, like even if you do it for 1 hour, I think closer to 100 MB only it is taking. So make sure you don't have any other programs running in the background that is taking up your bandwidth, and then you can manage this. Alright, okay. Example, right? So we'll take a practical example again, the results like, so we'll take a particular person's marks and we will store some mark, right? So based on the marks, if you are awarding grades like distinction, merit, credit and pass, distinction, merit, simple, pass and fail, so there are 4 options. So with a simple if and an else part, we can't solve that, so we can go for a restriction like this. So if we can check first of all marks, right, greater than or equal to 80, in that case I am giving them a distinction, right? Distinction. Now like in pseudocodes we could have written like this. So this is the structure that we're going to follow. So we're going to write else, if, directly you can write. Now here we have, so here I can type condition again is greater than or equal to 70. I'm going to type. So in PHP you can either write with the space or even without a space. Both are working. Like in Visual Basic you can have a without the space also you can do, but with the space also you can use, no problem, right? So I'm going to use it with the space, just like in the programming language that we have learned. In this case we will say echo it's a merit, right? Then now there are only not 2 options, there are 2 options in merit. We have the third option, which is going to be marks is more than 60. Let's assume it's going to be a pass. And finally you can write the else part. We don't have to write else if marks is less than 60, no need to write. So we can write echo directly, we can say fail. Okay, yeah, okay, you can use the chat window to ask things. Ramzi has posted a question, then how it is showing 0 automatically, for which I think which question Ramzi asking. You can switch on and ask Ramzi. Okay, question answer solved, right? Ashik is asking, can't we use elif? Elif is the syntax is used in Python. You can't use elif in PHP, right? I prefer if you use it using the mic, it's easy. Use the mic if you want, then it's much easier, right? Okay, fine. So that is the file part. So we will take a look at the output, how it's working. Switch on the mic and ask questions if you have any questions, please, because I'm working on the dual screen. I'm working on the right hand side one. So in the left hand side, if there's a question posted quickly, I won't see. So please raise the voice using your mic. So last example, you can see it's working like this. Let's make some modifications to the code and see whether it works properly. So we'll put a value like 80 here. The line number 11, if the value of marks is more than or equals to 80, it's a distinction. So in this case it's going to be a distinction, no change, as you can see. Then when I'm going to change this one into something below 80 but more than 70, let's put 5. This should be 75. This should be a merit. Okay, that's a merit. Then we will put something less than 70 but more than 60, 65, and it's a pass. And anything which is less than 60 is a pass. Anything which is less than 60 is a fail, including 59, and it's a fail. So all the 4 combinations are getting checked. So we will put another marks again, something like 82, right? So it's a distinction, so it works properly, right? Okay. By the time we are doing some repetition structures, we'll do some questions, some useful questions we will do. Right, now we will learn one more practical thing here with if conditions itself. Why not we make the marks an invalid mark, something like, let's say when I'm typing 8.
So can you hear me?
Yeah, of course. Who is this?
Ramzi sir.
Yes, Ramzi.
So minus, if you put minus.
Yeah, that is what I'm going to do now. I'm going to do a range check now. Watch this, what I'm going to happen, right? So I'm going to put something like a marks like this. If I put the marks 820 is going to be an invalid marks because it's above 100, and below 0 we're going to reject. So first of all, if you run this program, we're going to get a distinction here, which is an invalid result actually. So we're going to block that. To block this one, we can make use of our logical operators knowledge. So I'm going to use range check. Okay, so I'm going to use an if check of testing. Okay, children, so we're going to use if, we're going to use marks is greater than or equal to, should be more than or equal to 0. At the same time, it should be less than or equal to 100. Maximum marks could be 100, right? So this is how the code is going to be looking like. So there are 2 coming, so we'll put a surrounding bracket here or a parenthesis. Then finally I'm going to finish the if condition here, right? Then I'm going to have the else part for that, and I will say echo invalid marks. So if you want, like, you can give some flavor using HTML also. When we do the database programming, we're going to do this one very nicely using CSS as well. Right, now if you run the program, output will say invalid marks, and it's in red color as well. I hope solved your problem. So let's give a minus marks as Ramzi asked. Right, let's give minus 15. Minus 15 definitely is not more than or equal to 0, so it's going to be an invalid marks. So the same result, invalid marks. So anything if you write in the range 0 to 100, even 100 is okay, then it's going to be a valid marks, and it's going to give you the output like that. That is what the thing is, right? If you do have any questions, I'll stop the screen sharing for a while, then I'll start it again. Right, if you have any doubts, you can ask.
Sir, can you show me the codings again?
Okay, wait, I'll share the screen. Okay, Ramji, here. You can ask. Switch on the mic and ask.
Okay, thank you, sir.
You want to take a screenshot?
Yeah.
Okay, I will be uploading this one now, everything to the server. Now you can
Uh-huh.
take it downloaded, and I will upload the video to the YouTube as well. So down
Uh-huh.
there I will upload the links as well, so you can others also can download, anybody who is willing to learn. Okay, right.
Okay, sir.
We'll
Thank
continue. Let's go to the next part. So we're going to do another lesson in the sense we're going to do the switch statements next. If statement we did like this, I showed you an example, I demonstrated you, and practically I showed you in a place where we can use like, and there will be more questions will be given to you. So try to use this if else, if with else if parts, and try to solve them. So after the class I will upload the questions. Okay, let's do the second type of selection statements, which is switch statements. Let's do that one. Right, so quickly we will have a visual example for this one. So I'll download for pictures quickly. So let's download this one. Let's download this one as Spring. I'm going to save this one in my project folder. Chapter 3, I'm going to have a folder called images. Inside images I'm going to save this one as Spring. Then I'm going to save this one as summer. I'm going to have this one as the fall season, which is autumn. Then finally we have the winter season also. I think in okay, that's done. So we have picture, we've got the pictures. So you can see from here, images folder, and there are 4 pictures available. Right, now we're going to do the code in here. Right, so I'm going to call this one as okay. So let's take a look at this. Right, so first of all we will do the basic theory, we will try to understand just the coding. So I'm going to have the variable season like this. We'll store the value something like number 2. Based on the season we're going to display something. Chapter 6 we can do this one with comma box. When you select something from the comma box, the season will be displayed. After learning databases and Ajax, you can do it one step further. Inside the same page, by the time you select the comma box, the picture can change. You can do that part. So after chapter 7 we can do that. Okay, let's continue from there. So I'm going to write a switch statement. So you're going to say switch, inside the switch we type is an expression, or it can be a value. So I'm going to write season here. The one I'm evaluating, so I'm not going to write season whether it is equals to 1, no need. So I'm going to write inside here, I'm going to write some case statements. After the case, call them as case labels. After the case labels, we give values that can be evaluated or that can match this one. So we give like this, we give case 1 type. Then if the value which is found inside the season variable is equals to 1, then this statement can be executed. Here I'm going to say, first of all I'll put something like with the echo command, I'll do echo spring, say, then I write the case label 2, right? So I'm going to say echo summer. I had to wait, cursor comes, and only I have to type because screen sharing in both happening at the same time, so its screen is slow. My right, and finally we have right season. Enter. I'll use simple letters. There's a reason for that. Okay. Right, it's kind of like this now. This is not a complete program. We will run the program and see what's the output is first. You can see there's an error on line number 22, semicolon missing. Right, output is coming like summer, autumn, winter, both, all the seasons are coming. Hope you might know what's the reason for that is. The reason for that is the switch statement, how it functions is it checks for these case values, whatever the value that you have given here, it will check whether that value is same as the value that is found inside the variable or the expression that you have given inside the parenthesis. If both values are matching, it will execute the statement. It will execute the statement if both values are matching. If not, it's not going to execute the values statements. So according to the scenario, line number 14, it's not going to be a match because the value is 1, so it's not going to be a match. It's not matching here, so it will skip this statement and it will go to the next line. In the next line, line number 16, it says case value is 2, so season's variable value is also 2. At this line number 16, it is matched, so case value is matched. So what happens is, once the case value is matched, we're going to execute statements which are beneath that case statement. So because this is matched, we're going to start executing the statements. So first of all, it will execute the value summer. Echo is there, so it says output is summer, it will display the value summer. Now the problem is, once a case value is evaluated, it will not check for more case labels. It's not going to check for more case labels. That means it's not going to evaluate anything. The reason for that is, every value that you give here should be unique values. They should be unique values. So for that reason, it should not be repeated. So computer is quite sure that this value 2 is not going to come again, so it's going to execute only the instructions under the case values. So this is a statement, line number 17. Line number 18 is a evaluation checking. It will not do this one, but it will do this one, line number 19. But you might ask, it is written under case label 3, how it can execute. Only the statements going to be executed. The reason for that is, and we can put a default case also here. We can say invalid season, or we can say invalid. Right. Now once more we will run this one, so you can see everything is coming. So if it is 1 here, if it is matching 1, then from spring it comes, spring to invalid season, everything is right. So I would like to do like this, then I can do, if I type something like 2 there, and if I want it to stop, I have to use the jump, which is a break statement. We have to use break, we have to use, right? So properly we have to make use of it. Right, here we don't need a break statement. Right, now when you refresh this code in, only the summer part will come, other parts are not properly coming. So now the code is complete, and it is now actually it is complete, the code is now complete. Right, so this is the stage 1 we do of this program. Right, so this is just an output. So in a realistic environment it is not useful. I'm going to use this one a little bit visually. We will do with real displaying of images. So what we will do is, we will have a duplicate of this file and save it as demo2, and we will do the modifications for that. Right, so switch this one, I'm going to call this one as switch demo2. I'm going to have switch demo2. In this one I'm not going to just put it like this. I'm going to do something like, watch this, after the PHP code finishes, I'm going to write a code like an img code like this, and the source I'm going to say images slash I can give, I'm going to do it dynamically. So earlier you saw that I was saying that with if conditions we can create dynamic programs. So I'm going to have different programs with different images. So what I will do is, instead of displaying directly these words, I can have a variable like, let's call it as file name. Right, file name, I can have the value invalid season, or I can just have it blank for the time being. Right, so I'm going to this echo commands. The file name is assigned to, right, so that is how it's coming. Right, so this is how we have done. Right, now when I want to display the image, actually I want the output as an image. If I run the program, you will get no output. So there is no output here, no image is coming. Right, so we have to use, at this place I'm going to include my PHP knowledge or PHP code again. So you can't just put the variable name here, file. So this is 32 is pure HTML part, so I'm going to start PHP code again. Sorry, Right, now here I can type echo file name semicolon, right? So inside that one, file name is coming. Now we will run this program and see what happens. So still the picture is not displaying. Okay, we will put a alt message so we can see where the picture is. So picture is there, but it's not displaying because we did not give the extension, right? So you have two options. Either you can give spring.jpg, all the places you can give jpg, or after this PHP code finishes, you can use a dot and you can simply type a PHP. This is HTML part, just an HTML extension I am typing. Then you refresh this code, then that image is displaying. Okay, that image is displaying. So we can change the value here, and if it is spring, then it will display spring. Why I did not put .jpg here? Because see this, I am going to display the season also. So we'll put h2 season, and I want to display simply type echo file name. So that will display like this. So season spring, because then now you put another one, all the values we should make sure it's working. Third one, so that's the autumn season. Finally winter season, and invalid season I don't have a picture. See what happens if I type fifth one. There is no fifth season, so it is this is coming. I can download the image for that. I can save this one. That's a PNG image. We need a JPG. I call this one as invalid season. Then we'll do this part. Now once you refresh this, that image also comes. So season, it says invalid season, and the error message is also displayed. Okay, so hope you understand that one. I will give you some questions based on this one, like tax rate calculations and things like that. I will give you I will teach you some more today, like how to generate random numbers and things like that also, right? Okay, so we will move on to the next part then. So our next lesson is going to be repetition structures. So before that one, we will do an extra lesson, and small extra lesson, then we will go, right? So let me create a program. I'll call this one as this one is going to be random number example. Okay. Okay, let's create our PHP code. Right. In PHP, if you want to generate a random number, use the function rand open close parenthesis, right? So we will first of all take a look at this, how it works. Right, so it's generating a number something like this. So if you refresh, it's changing each time. This is one example. So we can use you can simply give the minimum maximum values here. If your minimum number is 0 and maximum number is 250, then you get numbers like this, right? We can do this one, an RGB example also. I will do it later. Okay, right? So we can make use of that, right? Because that is coming, we will quickly take a look at one. I will put something like this. We'll call this as a box, and you can see this tag is missing. Right, so that is enough for us. Let's take a look at that on the screen, how it looks. So here we go. The output you can see there, 500 by 500 output is there. Now what we shall do is come here. For this I can use a background color, right? So I don't want anything there. When you want a background color for this, I'm going to use CSS, and I'm going to mix that sun. That's why I'm going to show you background color. You know, we could give RGB. Can you remember we gave this? You can even give RGBA also. You can give sun. So here we can give 3 colors. That's what I'm going to do, right? So I can write a lengthy code like this, right? So a big code, or I will do a little bit of a easy code here, right? So in order to do a small code there on top of this tile, right? So without without what you call messing the code, I'll get 3 variables like red, right? So red is going to be RND. You can guess the code RND 0,255. So it's going to generate in between 0 to 155. Same, you can put it for green, blue. Right now, red, green, blue, there are 3 variables. All the 3 variables will have 3 random numbers, so I can call them here. But this is, again, you should understand, this is CSS code. Inside that you can simply call PHP. Make sure you use the comma here, then again you use the other one. So here you can use the echo command like this, right? echo $sign, right? There is a short method of doing this one. I don't strongly recommend that. Here you can use a question mark equal sign. So this is equal to a print statement. So that is available in PHP, but we will use the property of doing this one. So once you do one code, it's just a matter of copying, pasting. Copy this, then again paste, make this sign green, then again a comma, then final one paste, and you can put $sign blue, right? So we'll save the code, right? We'll go to the program, right? Now when you refresh this, now see random numbers are getting generated, and those here only the I think if I want, I can display them as well. Here we are displaying them. We'll put a we can simply put, we can make use of this. So there you can see the RGB value also. What is the color displayed here? You can see that. So that's a quite easy way to do this one. So I just mix that program with what we are learning today, right? So that is what is happening. So hope you understood this one and will be useful in your upcoming projects. Okay, right? If you have any questions, please ask them, right? Rishada, you can open the mic and ask. When we have different file extension, then do we have to give separately in each cases? So you are the designer, so you have to do that one. So if you are a designer, then if you have different file extensions, yes, you have to give different extensions. Yeah, it's a good question. You can give a thumbs up for a question, right? Like this, what she's asking. Here now in this program, let's downloaded is APG, one file PNG, another file is GIF. Then instead of giving only the file name here, yes, you have to give the full file name and the extension. There are different ways. As the developer, you can come around with them, and you can give different things. Okay, right. Okay, fine. Rishada's mic is on, I guess. Right, let's continue the lesson then. That is switch statements I wanted to teach you. Then I wanted to teach you extra part, small that one, that is the random numbers. Random numbers, I showed you how to generate them. If you just give the rand here, it's a random number coming, and if you want to have a in a range you want to generate a random number, it's very easy. You can give the minimum and maximum values, then it will generate a random number in that range. That's what happens. Okay, so that's it about it. So we will move on to the lesson, that is the repetition structures. Repetition structures means, you know, that based on a conditions, one statement or set of statements can be repeatedly executed. So we're going to see that one. So first of all, we learn about while loops. There are different types of repetition structures available. So we will take a look at a while loop. You can either call it as while loop, right, or while statement. simple example show you to understand the concept, and you should be able to use this one. Unlike any other loops, while loop will be extensively used in the projects because very friendly with databases. By the time you use database programs, it's a must, like we need to make use of our while loops, right? And for loops also you'll be using quite extensively, right? All right. Okay, let's continue. Right. You know, a while loop is a pre-tested loop in the sense it will evaluate the condition first, then it will go inside the loop body and it will do the job. So we'll see how it's done. So we'll take a simple example, easy to understand example, a variable like x, and we will store the value 1, and we will write the while loop like this. You write the word in simples while, then you type is less than or equals to 10, and open close. We will print the value of count, so not count x, then we will make sure we increment the value of x, otherwise the loop will not stop. Since it's a web program, we need to take it to the next line. Visually we want to see, so we need to include a br tag as well. So this is the simple code that we can use to understand. So we will run the project and see. There we go. So values from 1 to 10 got displayed. Right, as I told you, it's a pre-tested loop. Let's check it out. Let's make this x to 0, 100, which means if you say 100 is less than or equal to 10 is not correct or not true, so it will not repeat the loop at all. It will repeat 0 times. Right, so while loop, it doesn't display any output on the screen. Okay, fine. Then we can do modifications, variations of while loops, but this is the simple idea. Because if it is a real classroom, I can give you a program to write to show me how to do this one. So but I will give you exercises at the latter part of today's lesson. Okay, let us move on with the lessons. So that's the while loop part. So we'll do a different example on this, maybe using random numbers, something like that. I'll show you an example, right? Let's make a copy of this code in to save some time. Right, let's create another example. In this program, what I'm going to do is I'm going to generate 10 random numbers. Okay, 10 random numbers, and I'm going to display them. So we'll see how to do that. So we can make use of a variable x, and we can make the starting value 0. No need to start from 1. So we can say while value of x is less than 10, so this will work 10 times. So we're not going to directly display the value of x we are using to control the loop, so we call that as a loop control variable. We need to make sure that each time x is incremented by 1, so that after executing for 10 times the loop will properly stop. So we're going to say echo. You can simply write rand. If it is just random numbers within any no range is given, you can simply use like this. Okay, so that's a simple answer for that. Right, so there are different numbers coming like this. Each time when I reload the code, project is working like this, right? Okay, now you can generate some random numbers in the range 1 to 100. So make it easier. So when you refresh the code, right, there we go. Quite random numbers are coming there, right? 68 seems to be repeated 2 times, you can see, right? What we will do next is we will use within a while loop, we will use a if condition as well, right? So I'll do another example. I can do it in the same one because I want to save the programs for you, so later you can take a look at them. That's what I'm doing, multiple examples. So let's do another example. Let's call this one as while demo 3. In this program, let's generate 100 random numbers this time, but the generated random even numbers I'm going to display, and I'm going to find the total of them as well, right? And I'm going to find the count of total as well. So I'm going to have variables here, dot underscore even. You can remember we did these things in pseudocodes, right? Total even numbers I'm taking. So I'm going to say dot count also I'm going to take. This is dot even count, okay? Based on these examples, I will give further questions for you, so make sure you properly understand. So we have a loop which will work 100 times, no problem with that. So we need to generate a random number. So I'm going to create a variable here. Let's call this as R assigned to random. We generate the random numbers in the range 1 to 100 easy, right? So a random number will be generated here. Then what we need to do is, we are inside the while loop, children. You can see while loop. We need to make use of a condition here, right? What we do is if we'll say the variable R variable R module is equals to 0. This is the way to make an even number, right? Now we're going to make use of if only, else part is not necessary. In this program we are doing only the even number. If it is even, we are going to do something. If it is not an even number, we are not going to do anything. So for that reason, we're going to do the code like this. If it's an even number, we're going to first of all say total even. So you can say plus equal. So we should make use of operator, combine assignment operator. Don't write tot even is assigned to tot even plus R. This is the code. Then even to increase the count, we can simply put a plus plus. Right? So if it by 1, so use the plus plus. If you're incrementing by something other than 1, you can use plus equals, right? So that's the easiest way to do your programs, right? So next one I'm going to do is we will, after the loop finishes, I am not asking you to display every number, so we're going to display echo total so we'll put a BR tag and total even count. After typing, after a couple of seconds only, right. So we will go to the output window and see how it looks. We're going to the third example. There's an error, line number 21. I think dollar sign is missing somewhere. 21 dot count. Okay, the reason there is we can't increment that one because this is not defined, so we have to put 0 first there, incremented. That is why the error came. Right, you can see the total events, that is the even number coming, and total number of even is also displayed. So if I refresh this, the values will be different. You can try like that. You can see different time, different values coming. Okay, so that is an example with combining both values I showed you, right? So that is the while loop again, right? So we can do the other two loops and we will do some variations to the repetitions. Okay, I hope you understand this one. If you have any doubts, you can ask now. So let's do another one, right? Okay. Right. Let's do the other two types of loops. So let's do a while loop, right? So I'll put this code I will write how just like the previous one to explain you the theory. We can put in that we like put 0 here and we have yeah while loop this, so we'll display all numbers. So this is a while loop, there is no problem in this one. So we say value of x is less than 10, this will repeat. So from 0 to 9 numbers will be displayed. Let's take a look at that on the screen first. Here it works. Why I showed you that one is do while loop, the syntax is very quite simple to understand. In a while loop, if the condition is not true, it will not repeat at all, because you know the condition is evaluated at the beginning. You can see line number 13, we have the while loop that with the condition we have written, if this part is true only, rest of the lines going to get executed. So I will do like this, I will do something like this, right? What I'm going to do is I'm going to make the condition fail now. You can see starting value, so loop will not repeat at all, right? Okay, now we'll again change this one 1 to, not to 0. This time what I'm going to make this one into a while loop. So I'm going to delete that part. I'm going to have a word do here, and at the latter part I will have the condition written and I will put the semicolon here. So do, directly you can go inside the loop body and execute the statements that you have given. Nothing going to be evaluated, there's nothing to evaluate here, right? Once you come here only we have to do the evaluation, right? So if even if the condition is not correct at the beginning, it's going to repeat the loop body. Before that one, this is a perfect loop, it's correctly working. So we will see how it's working. So when you run, so 0 to 9 it's working, so you can use this one if you like. Now I'm going to make the condition fail. Condition is not true now, but still it will work for the first time. It will display the value 0, then only 100, stop. Why? Because when you come here it says do, go inside, print the value of x, 100 will be printed, then it increments the x by 1, x becomes 101. Once you come to line number 16, there is the evaluation if you're going to do it for the second time. So by the time you are checking here, 101 is less than 10. Now it is not true, so you're not going to repeat it again, but you have executed the loop body once and come here. So whether the condition is correct or not correct at the beginning, for the first time, while do while loop is definitely going to work. For that reason, we call this one as a post-tested loop. Okay, that is how it's going to work, right? So not going to discuss or not going to do any more work on this one further. I will do for loop next, and we will do some more exercises of some programs, right? Okay, right, I'm going to close this program. I'm going to start another one. Right, so I'm going to say for demo, right? So here we're going to have the program. We'll have a for loop like this. Example. Right. When you come to for loops are a little bit close. The condition will be evaluated at the beginning. So for the for loop part, I will get the note as well a little bit for you to easy to explain. If you take a look at the for loop part, conditional operator we didn't do, we'll do that part as well. If you take a for loop has 3 parts. Okay, so the syntax example is both are here. You can see there. For loop, first of all, it has the initialization section. Here we have put it as the variable assignment. Then there's a text expression is there, or the condition. Finally, we have the variable modification. So increment or decrement part will happen there. Unlike while loop, for loops we say they are predefined loops because we exactly know how many times we're going to repeat the loop. So it's pretty handy to make use of for loops in multiple places. So we'll be using them as well. Okay, right, so this is the syntax and this is an example. So we will work on an example on the code itself, right? So you have to write the keyword for first and open close parenthesis. Inside this open close parenthesis we can make use of the 3 sections. So I'm going to make use of a variable called I, and I'm going to assign the value 0 there, right? I assign the value 0. Then the variable I is less than or equals to 10, right? That's our coding standards, right? And that's also with a semicolon. Then you're going to say I need to be incremented, right? So this is the variable assignment. You can see we are defining a variable I and or initializing it to 0. Then the value of I is getting evaluated against the value 10. If it is true, it will go inside the loop because it's a pre-tested loop. So at the very first time when the loop is working, this will be done only once during the lifetime of the loop, only once at the beginning. Then I will be defined and it will have the value 0. Then I will be less than or equal to 10. We check whether it is less than or equal to 10. If it is true, it will go inside. Now the value of I is 0. 0 is less than or equal to 10 is true, so it can come inside the loop. So we'll print the value I, print the value I, we go to the next line, right? So nothing else you need to write, so you don't have to write I++ because it's also part of the loop. Only this instruction I want to write in the program. Once you come to line number 14, because it's a for loop, it will repeat for the second time. Once it comes to the next round, it will come first of all to this piece, which is the modification part. So it will execute the modification part. I was 0, now I will be 1 because I going to increment by 1, so it's going to become 1. So after I get modified by 1 or incremented by 1, before doing it for the second time, it will again check the condition. That's why it's called a pre-tested loop. Now the value of I is 1, 1 is less than or equal to 10 is still true. It will go inside and it will print. It will go keep on doing until it prints the value 9. After printing 9 plus 1, I will become 10, and 10 is less than or equal to 10 is true because the equal part is there, so 10 is also displayed. After printing 10, 10 will be incremented by 1 and 10 will become 11. Once it becomes 11, 11, so 11 is less than or equal to 10 is not true, so beyond 10 it is not possible to display, so output will print from 0 to 10. There we go, 0 to 10 it is displaying. So that's how it goes, the values, right? Okay. That is about the for loop. So we can make use of this for loop with other programs. We can generate random numbers and things like that we can do. Do you have any doubts in the for loop? I'm going to show you a real-time example and mix it with some CSS and show you. Yes, do we have any questions? You can simply turn on the mic and ask. Right, okay, we'll continue the lesson then. We will do like this. What we will do is, I'll show you what I want actually. I'm going to have a web page. In that web page, I'm going to have a table which will have nearly 20 rows. Okay, but each row will be in a light and a dark and a light and a dark color, like let's say light silver color and white silver color and white. We want to do something like that, so we will make use of the loop to generate the table, as well as we will make use of the loop and if conditions to control the colors of them as well. So we will do that one as a project now and see how it's done. Right, I'm going to create a new program for that. I will do that with a while loop or a for loop, either one is fine. So let's do it with a for loop, it's much easy. So let's create a new file. So this is going to be a for example. I'll create a web page first, then I'll create a PHP code. Right, certain parts I don't need to use PHP, certain parts I won't use PHP, so I'm going to keep things simple. So I'm going to simply create a table first of all. So I can create a table like this, create a table tag. So and after the PHP I will finish the table. Okay, right, so we'll give table border for the time being 1. I will replace those things, don't worry. So we will give something like this. We will create a for loop. You can type like this. Actually, you can type like this. Simply type the word for and press the tab key. It will automatically create this code for you. Okay, this is quite easy and quite interesting to do. So type 4 and press the tab key. It's much easier. Yes, start from 0. I is less than 20. Yes, I want 20 times to happen. Fine, my code. Right, what I'm typing first is I'm going to type, I want to create a table row. Each time I want to create a table row. Okay, then I'm going to stop the table row as well. Inside this I'm going to write, I can create a td tag. like this. Okay, let's say a value of I. So we have to have something meaningful, so we'll use I. It's much easier when you use double quotations. You don't have to use echo commands and all that, right? Okay, so this is my basic program. Okay, so we'll run this project and see how it looks. So when you run the program, so it's like something missing. So here, starting from 0, it's printing the values up to 19 inside the table. Table doesn't look very nice, right? So I just want each time this table, each row need to be in different color. So I'm going to make use of something like this style. So I will say color. Okay. Background color. For the time being, I'll just put and show you. See, it's working. So it's working. Each row can be put in different color, right? So we're going to fix that on route. So I'm going to go here. First of all, I'm going to so the table, I'm going to give a formatting for this. Let's give the width 400 px, font family sans serif. Okay, that should be enough. I'm going to ask tr border pixel solid gray color. So it's coming something like that. Will block collapse the border. You can see it comes like this now, quite okay, right? This on white. Okay, so table looks like this. Now what I want to do is each one, like let's say if it's a even number, we will put it in light green, or odd number, we'll put it in light blue, something like that. So if you want to do something like that, we make use of that, because when you are displaying results of something, you can make use of this one. So in this place, we need to change this, right? So I'm going to have a variable here called color, right? So I'm going to use something called a color, right? So in order to use the color, I'm going to use an if condition first here. Then I will use I modulus divided by 2. If it's equals to 0, then it's an odd even number. In that case, I can change this color to some color that I like. You can use something like double quotations. If you want, you can use the hash mark. I will use something like easy ones, so we'll make it a little bit easier. So we'll say light light green, else color is defined to light blue. Okay, right. Now here what we're going to do is, here we can make use of this one color. I think color will have to be defined. Define the color outside once, then it's easy. Blank value there. Okay, so when you're refreshing the code now, so we different colors for the borders. So you would have seen when you're browsing for this MP3 songs and all, sometimes in the tables they give these two or differentiated colors, so it's much easier. So you can use one in silver color and one in gray. So it looks something like this. Okay, or one in silver and one in white. It's up to you, totally up to you. You can do this. Okay. So you can create the things however you want, right? Okay, so this if condition here, what we have is a lengthy code. Now what we have, so we'll have a version 2 of this program simplifying this code. When you have a easy if condition to do, so instead of using if conditions, you can do it with conditional operators. I will use that one, and first I will teach you, then I will show you how it's done. Alright, so we'll take a different example, and first of all we'll understand the conditional operators, and we will come to this example once again. Make sure that conditional operators is not a replacement for if conditions. It's not a replacement for if conditions, right? Okay, now what we will do is we will do that example, right? So I'm going to create that. Conditional operators dot page code creating. So we'll create an example there, and we will PHP code. I'll create an example. So we'll say we have taken this example earlier also, maybe my score and your score, right? So we want to find the best score. So we can write an if condition. If my score is more than your score, in the else part we can write then best score is assigned my score. So without doing that one, there is a conditional operator in PHP. There's a conditional operator same as Java. This is the operator that you have. Okay, mark, then the colon. So in front of the question mark we can write the evaluation. So you can write like my is greater than your score. My score is greater than your score. This is a evaluation that we do. In order to make it more simple to understand, we can put a open close parenthesis, right? Next what we will do is, if it is true, right, if it is true, what we're going to do is we're going to write the result here. If I write x, then if I write y, so if this when you are evaluating, if this part is true, then x will be returned to this side, best score will be x, otherwise in the best score variable y will be stored. If this is true, after the question mark before the colon, what you have will be returned. Otherwise, if the condition is not true, after the colon, what you have will be returned to this side, right? So this is quite useful in PHP programming. We will be actually using this in one project when we are doing comma boxes, when we want to when you are resetting forms and all, we will be making use of this one. And in search screens, when we are building in PHP, it's quite very much useful. So please try to understand this one, otherwise we had to write very lengthy codes. Okay, so instead of x and y, I'm going to put the real code there. So if my score is greater than your score, definitely my score is the large one, so I put that. Otherwise, if it's not true, means definitely your score is the one which is more. So we write like this, right? So down here, if I ask echo best score is what, then I can print the best score. Right, let's project. So you can see best score is 60 coming. So 60 is coming. So if I change this one, my score to 150, then it will find out that one also. See, it's properly finding. So you should understand, this is not a replacement code. This is not a replacement code for if conditions. So when you want to do very simple selections, you can make use of this one. Other than that one, every if condition, you should not try to do this using this one. Okay, so let's do the version 2 of this example that we did now. This if condition part code, we will replace it with our the code that we did now, right? So I will save this one as another program and do it. Example 2, right? So in example 2 I will do that. So I'm going to delete this code in, right? So it's very simple. So we're going to have a color here. Color variable is assigned the value. So we're going to first of all check. What are we checking? So we're going to check the value of I modulus divided by 2, whether it is equals to 0. So this is our evaluation. It can be either true, it can be either false. So we put the question mark. Then if it is true, means it's a even number. So the color should come. I'm going to type color. So I'm going to write yellow. Code is becoming lengthy. I'll make it easy. So let's put red, and here we'll put colon mark. What comes after colon mark comes is if the condition is not true. So we will put yellow. So that's the code. In this scenario, in this circumstance, rather than writing condition, this is quite easy to do. So this will give you the same type of a result. So we'll make the screen smaller and you can run the program. So it comes like this. Different colors can be applied easily. I just put some bright colors so you can easily see them. Right, okay, let's do some changes, and you can let's say we put different colors here. So the two colors, right? So we'll run the program. See, it like this. Let's say now even numbers should be displayed in green color. Then you can simply, rather than interchanging these two, you can use the not equal to operator. If it is not equal to, now when you run, the code will give you a different result. See, simple as that. Okay, so that is what mainly that we need to do, right? So control flow statements and things like that, right? So if you take a look at